So let's take a quick review of where we are by using git status. So what we're going to do now is begin rolling back our changes. The first change that we've made is unstaged. It's a modified version of our input.module file. And again, if we want some hints about what to do next, we can look here under this changes not staged for commit section. So it has two suggestions. First is use git add to update what will be committed. So if we wanted to take the changes that we've made and actually commit it, we need to stage it first, and this will stage it by using git add. Or we can use git checkout and then the name of the file to discard changes in working directory. So this will roll back any changes that we've made to this particular file since our last commit. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and type git checkout -- and then the name of the file, which I'll go ahead and copy since it's rather long. And then I'm going to hit enter. Now if I do git status again, what we'll see is that there's nothing to commit. Working directory clean. So all of our modifications have been removed. I went ahead and cleared the back scroll with Command K. So in these next steps, we're going to keep rolling back changes, and it's important to make the distinction between staged changes and unstaged changes. You're going to roll them back differently depending on what they are. So let's go ahead and stage some changes, and then roll them back to unstaged, and then roll them back to non-existent. And then we'll go back and revert an actual commit that we made before. Okay, let's start by modifying the input.module file. I'm going to jump back to my editor, and I'm going to copy all of the code that's in the second step, and I'm going to paste it over input.module. We've done this before. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to open up another file inside of this directory. So we have a couple of files that have been modified. I'll open up input.info, and I'm going to remove all of the text inside of it and save it. Just to show one more example of a change, I'm going to duplicate this file so there's two of them now. It doesn't really matter what file you duplicate at this point. I'm going to go back to the command line and let's check out our status. Git status. So you see we have changes not staged, 2 modifications here, and then we have 1 untracked file. Let's go ahead and stage all of these. In order to add these, let's go ahead and jump into the directory. I'm going to go cd sites all modules input. And now that we're in there, we can just go ahead and do git add, and then we'll select everything. Now if we do git status, you see that we've added the new file and our 2 modified files. So now these are staged. They're changes ready to be committed. I cleared the back scroll again. So in order to move our changes from staged to unstaged, we'll use a command we used earlier, which is git reset head. Now you've seen head before, and you'll see it multiple times as we work through this series. So just to quickly explain, head is a pointer to the branch that we're currently on. So right now we're on the branch master. If we had alternate branches and we were on one of those, as soon as we were on one of those branches, that branch would become head. So what this command says is we want to roll back to the latest commit to the current branch that we're on, which is master. I'm going to hit enter. And you see it says we have unstaged changes now after the reset. And if we do git status, you'll see we have our modified files and our untracked files now. So we're back to where we were before we staged. Now before we used git checkout in order to undo changes to a particular file. But if we want to undo all of our changes, we're going to use the same command that we just did, but we're going to pass an additional parameter called hard. So it will be git reset hard. Now because we're using the full parameter name, we use 2 dashes here, and then we're going to use head again. And I hit enter, and it says that head is now at, and then the unique identifier of our last commit, plus the message of our last commit. So we know where we are in the revision tree. Now if we do git status again, you see that we don't have our modified files that we had above, but we do have our untracked file. Now if we want to remove untracked files, we have just a single file, so it's not so hard to just remove it. But imagine you have several hundred files that are untracked, interspersed in your directories, and it would take a long time to go in and delete them all. You can use a command called clean. To test out clean before you actually run it, go ahead and do git clean and then pass it the n parameter. I'm going to hit enter, and it says would remove input copy.info, which is our file. So if we want to go ahead and run this, we can simply do git clean. But notice that we get a fatal error. It says fatal, clean require force defaults to true, and neither n nor f is given, refusing to clean. So what this means is that if we want to do this, we need to be more specific that we actually really want to do this by passing it the f, which is short for force, parameter. So let's try this one more time, but with the force parameter, git clean, and then f, removing input copy.info. Now if we do git status, it says we're on branch master, nothing to commit. All right, so we're back.